Red Bun means we're live, a casual take with your boy Steven Pepper, here to give a take off my chest. So, I don't think I've ever seen a player lose out on so much potential money based on how they ended their season without a significant injury than Sam Darnold in these last couple of weeks. Because, oh my God, did it feel like he lost at least $1 million off any new contract per sack he took last night? It was that brutal. I mean, he was just playing so good, in fact, that if he just had a few more good games, we're talking about a guy who's having the biggest house in Minnesota. Seriously, I was hearing $50 million per year after that Packers game. Where are we now? Well, when you end the last 8 days of your season, these games are big. They get you paid, completing 53% of your passes, 2 turnovers, 11 sacks, and your offense with all those weapons. Jefferson, Addison, Hawkinson, O'Connell, 9 points per game. All that money is now off the table, and we're having completely different conversations. 50 million, I don't even remember that happening. Welcome to 30 million now, Sam Darnold. It's like I was watching that scene out of The Dark Knight, where Joker lit that big stack of money to flames. But instead of the Joker, it was Aaron Glenn and Shula, the defensive coordinators of the Lions and the Rams, saying, Darnold, all your money's now gone thanks to us. And because they gave him hell with their defensive schemes. And I just feel so bad for Darnold. I do. I feel bad. We were talking about a guy who was, I believe, pick 3 from the Jets in 2018. And he has a couple stops later, he's written off as a bust. But then he lands in the hands of Kevin O'Connell in Minnesota and turns his career around. He wins 14 games. He has 35 touchdowns. They have no expectations. He makes the Pro Bowl 3 weeks ago against the Packers. He's in MVP conversations. It was a heck of a turnaround. And if you were like me after the Packers game where he was big time, clutch, that's a huge division win, you were like me, like, oh yeah, this guy, if you're in Minnesota, you got to keep him around. You do. He's in his prime. He's playing like this. You can't let him go. But after this last couple of weeks, man, it sucks for the Vikings. You just can't keep him around. With all you probably had Super Bowl expectations. You won 14 games to end this early, but it's just been a disaster for Darnold. And if there was one note for the Vikings that's positive, I know it sucks, but if there was anything positive, you now know everything you need to know about Sam Darnold before you even put a price tag next to his name. Because if he didn't stink it up and you paid him $50 million, $40 million, he could have done this next season and you would have been screwed. At least now you know everything about him, his strengths and weaknesses, and you go from there. Because when the lights get the brightest, people always say, your true colors start to come out. And for Darnold, it's handling the pressure. He is one of the worst pocket present evaders in the league. This guy holds on the ball way too long. Took 9 sacks. That ties for the playoff record. You cannot take 9 sacks. You either got to get the ball out quick or you got to make a play with your legs. Sack avoidance is one of the best traits in a quarterback, and he doesn't have that. He tries to hold on the ball too long, not throw a pick, and hit a home run shot, and he paid the price. He took a sack on 4th and 2 when the game in the balance in the third quarter. That is unacceptable. He lost 82 yards to sacks. The dude was a statue in the pocket. That's the most sack yardage in the history of the playoffs since the merger, 50 years. Those are drive killer. You look at his box score and it says, oh, he completed this, that. Those are drive killing numbers. You take all those sacks because now you're in 3rd and 20. But the guy couldn't move. He looked like deer in the headlights. Looked like me in NCAA playing on Heisman. I'm trying to do all these all goes, but I'm holding the ball too long. I'm just going to take a sack. So listen, now that you're Minnesota, I think it's more than likely that they're just going to let Sam Darnold walk, not pay him money, not franchise him, given their cap space and who they got at quarterback and J.J. McCarthy, just let him play on a rookie deal and grow. Because I don't know if you can continue with Darnold. Like, yeah, you did so well with him, 14 games, but don't you feel like he kind of peaked here? And let someone else take a chance on him and just give JJ a run. Now, I understand it wasn't all Darnold's fault. O'Connell and Flores got outcoached by McVay and Shula. The offensive line wasn't great. But those are the games that get you paid. And when you're 0-4 to the Lions and Rams this season, probably the 2 best teams that you played, both in the divisional round, one in the playoffs, one kind of a playoff game too early in the regular season, it's on you. And I just can't imagine how Darnold's agent is feeling right now, watching millions of dollars go by per sack he took. Again, this guy was playing so well. He was in line for $40 to $50 million if he just kept rattling off a couple more good games. And now you feel like that's all gone. And as it should. Because it now feels like he's almost like a product of the system. Still good, but with all those weapons around him in the regular season, he shines. But then in the big games, blitz in front of him, weapons aren't always open. He's seen ghost. And that's not a $50 million guy. And in the 8-day stretch, maybe the most brutal 8-day stretch, costly 8-day stretch I've ever seen of a player without a devastating injury losing out on so much potential money. But what should the Vikings do with Sam Darnold? Let me know your comments below. Appreciate everyone for listening to this episode. Follow my social media to stay updated on all things related to the show. Until next time, see you.